How to burn stubborn body fat. 1. Stubborn belly fat science. Your body's fat cells have a variety of receptors with different functions. You can think of each receptor as a lock, with hormones and neurotransmitters serving as the keys. When a key is put into a lock, something happens. Likewise, when hormones and neurotransmitters engage with these receptors, a specific response happens. The alpha-2 receptor and the beta-2 receptor are the two receptor types you should be thinking about right now. The beta-2 receptors speed up fat burning, whereas the alpha-2 receptors are the bad guys since they slow it down. Your body's fat cells include both of these receptors, and the ratio between them will impact how quickly your body burns fat. The more alpha-2 receptors your body has compared to beta-2 receptors, the harder it will be for your body to burn fat. On the other hand, your body will be able to burn fat more readily the more beta-2 receptors you have. What's up with the obstinate fat areas, then? They have more alpha-2 receptors than beta-2 receptors, which explains why. Furthermore, because you are born with a certain distribution of alpha-2 receptors, you cannot just convert them to beta-2 receptors. As you are surely aware, the love handles for males and the butt, thighs, and hips for women seem to be the intractable fat areas. 2. What method do you use to get rid of this stubborn fat? The ideal strategy for burning off resistant fat will be to block alpha-2 receptors while activating beta-2 receptors. The issue is that the beta-2 and alpha-2 receptors use the same key, which is problematic. The hormone catecholamines are the key in this situation. The hormones that control fight-or-flight behavior, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, are catecholamines. These hormones are produced by your body in reaction to any kind of stress. But in this piece, we're just concerned with the kind of stress you can create for yourself, which is exercise. Technically, catecholamines are produced by all forms of exercise. However, short, intense workouts are the most successful at releasing this hormone. You're probably wondering how to effectively suppress alpha-2 receptors while maintaining the activity of beta-2 receptors at this point. Low insulin is the simple solution. It shouldn't come as a surprise that insulin plays a significant role in everything related to weight growth or reduction. It's important to keep in mind that this is a very delicate process. The entire process might be undermined by even a tiny increase in insulin levels, which will prevent you from losing any resistant fat. You can lower your insulin levels, in terms of fat burning, by following a low-carb diet or engaging in intermittent fasting. Before you can effectively start burning off resistant fat on a low-carb diet, your daily carb intake needs to be less than 20% of your total daily caloric intake for at least 4 days. If you prefer intermittent fasting, some experts suggest that the optimal time to burn stubborn fat is between 12 and 18 hours. Another crucial element that influences the burning of resistant fat is blood flow. The blood supply to the areas of stubborn fat is often on the low side, and without adequate blood flow, the hormones, catecholamines, needed to mobilize the fat won't reach the areas of resistant fat. How can you then improve the blood flow to these areas? However, intermittent fasting and utilizing a waist trimmer like the shred belt are your two best options. Exercise can also assist. Last but not least, the step that many people who are trying to lose stubborn fat miss is what they need to do after mobilizing the stubborn fat. You don't want to take to all the difficulty of removing the stubborn fat from those areas only to have it return. You should get some exercise. By keeping your blood flowing throughout exercise, you'll permanently remove the fat from your bloodstream. At this stage, all you need to do to keep your blood moving is a little bit of sweating. You don't even need to work out hard. 3. A last word. You must suppress your alpha-2 receptors by maintaining a low insulin level if you want to lose stubborn fat. You can achieve this by committing to an intermittent fasting regimen or a low-carb diet, whatever suits you best. Your fat cells are connected to the alpha-2 and beta-2 receptors through catecholamines. Exercise at a high level of intensity is required to increase catecholamine levels. Poor blood flow and stubborn fat is what keeps the essential hormones from reaching the receptors on fat cells. Intermittent fasting and a low-carb diet will all assist to improve blood flow to these areas. If you want to keep your mobilized fat from returning to resistant fat areas, you must exercise at a moderate intensity. The exercise will keep your blood moving, allowing the fat to be removed from your bloodstream. That is essentially the definition of stubbornness and the best way to overcome it. However, keep in mind that a number of other variables, such as stress, lack of sleep, lifestyle choice, and exposure to toxins and pollutants from the environment, can also contribute to stubborn fat.